Your world. Your world. What is that? Is it something physical? Something you can touch? Or is it just in your mind? Can I see your world? These are great questions, and they are not as simple as they sound. Our world. It's a concept we all use in our daily lives, but sometimes we don't quite understand it fully, or we don't recognize how it's shaping us. And I've come to recognize there are two main ways to think about this. Yeah, maybe there are more, but for now, let's focus on this.
First,
The first interpretation of our world is that it's simply how we perceive reality. It all started when I was watching an episode of Shoulder. In this episode, Shoulder is talking to Monk, and he says, "That's not how things work on my world." It sounds weird, right? But it's true. Every person has their own perception of the world, and that shapes their world in unique ways. So, think about this. Imagine you and your friend are watching the same sunset. Maybe to you, the sunset is just a peaceful time, a time to reflect and appreciate nature. Your friend, who loves photography, sees it differently. He or she notices the perfect lighting and composition, maybe even thinking about how to capture it in the best shot. Maybe a scientist watching the same sunset is thinking about how light scatters in the atmosphere and how that affects what we see. Same sunset, three different worlds. This is how perception works. It's never the same for everyone. Now, when we talk about our world, it's not just about our perception. It is also influenced by the environment around us, our surroundings, our experiences, the people we interact with. Our world starts when we are young, as every experience and habit we develop has a profound impact on who we become, in our personality and behavior. For example, think about something traumatic like an accident or bad treatment. After going through something like that, it's hard to look at the world the same way again. Maybe you've experienced this. Something bad happened at school, or a client treated you badly at work, and now you have a negative view of that place or situation. But in the flip side, good experiences also shape our world. They build confidence. Every success you've had, big or small, builds a layer of trust in yourself. Confidence, for instance, isn't something we just acquire magically. It comes from accumulating evidence that we can succeed. And the best evidence of all comes from past triumphs. Those are the things that change how you see yourself. But what about you? What experiences and habits have shaped your personality and your character? Something I've heard that really makes sense is the idea that as we grow older, we start to adding layers to who we are. So when someone asks, "Who are you?" we are often describing this character we've built over the years with all the layers we've added. This is important because it shows that the world you experience is deeply connected to the person you have become. Now, if you want to create a better world for yourself, there are two things you can do: improve your perception or improve your environment. The good news, improving your perception is free. I'm not saying you have to see everything through rose-colored glasses, but sometimes just changing the way you think about things can make a huge difference. Of course, you can also improve your environment. It's possible to build healthier habits, communicate better with your family, and improving your living space. Sometimes these changes are big and take time, like getting a room for yourself if you don't have the resources now.
second,
Now, there is another interpretation of my world or our world. It's about your interest, your passions, and the things you care about deeply. The phrase, "you are my world," refers to someone who is extremely important to you. So, your world can also be everything that matters to you: your family, your profession, your hobbies, your body, and all the things that form your personal bubble. For example, if you are studying in college or already working, you probably don't think much about how to catch a chicken. To you, chickens are just something you buy at the supermarket. But for a farmer, chickens are everything. They are their livelihood. It's a completely different world. Some people's world are very narrow, while others are much broader. This depends on where we are in life, our current goals, and the circumstances we are facing. Think about a 6-year-old. Their world is probably small, mostly school, family, and playtime. Now imagine an adult. Their world is much bigger, including things like work, relationships, finances, and responsibilities. So, how big is your world? What are the things that matter most to you? These are questions you need to ask yourself. Your world will likely change as you grow and as your circumstances change. But the most important thing is to understand that your world, your perception, is what shapes everything around you. Final reflection. At the end of the day, the most fundamental thing we have as living, sentient beings is our perception. Because if you really think about it, everything we know comes from the way we perceive it. Everything else, science, philosophy, facts, could be questioned. But the one thing we can't question is how we perceive the world around us. So what does that mean? It means our world is entirely in our hands. We can change it, improving it, and shape it. Thank you so much if you stayed until the end. Leave me a comment. Any word is really appreciated. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time.